Welcome to another video. This time I'm going back to statues. I just received her from Sideshow Collectibles yesterday. Not too many live video reviews of her out there yet. So I wanted to put that out there, maybe give other collectors a chance to take a look and decide if they want this piece or not. This is the red Sonja statue from Sideshow. They made a couple of those. This is the latest one. I think it's like the queen of the Scavengers or something like that. I forget the exact name. I apologize for that. I think I'll put it in the description below, but in any case, this is the latest version of her. I have the previous ones, and I wanted to do a little review of the statue and show her off and talk about her. So this is the exclusive. Whenever possible, I try to buy exclusives of the statues released. I think they hold their value a little bit more. Some of the exclusives are not very exciting, but I think they just hold value more, so I try to buy exclusives when I can. So this is the third iteration of Red Sonja. Now, Sideshow has done a pretty good job with Red Sonja in general. By the way, this character was created by Robert Howard, who is the creator of the Conan character. And so she's sort of a more minor character that I think he created, but she's become popular in her own right over the years. And just to say, this is the third version that Sideshow's done. They've done fantastic versions of all of them. The first two were amazing. The first one was marred by a suboptimal paint job. The sculpt was fantastic. I believe Tony Cipriano did that sculpt, and it was amazing. And I'll show her off in a separate video. But the factory paint job was awful, and it hid a lot of the detail. And a lot of those versions were actually repainted by various paint masters to phenomenal effect. And I have one of those by a guy named Vicente Torres, which I will show off in a bit. The second one was quite a bit better. So they swung from one extreme to the other, where the second one was a she-devil with a sword, and she had a factory paint job that was so good that actually one of the paint masters, when he was commissioned to do a repaint, actually sent the piece back to his customer because he was very honest. He just said, I don't think I can do that much better of a job. I don't want to take your money to do very little. So you have to commend his integrity. He got a little bit of flack for that, because a lot of other painters were saying, oh no, you could do a lot better. But I could see where he was coming from. That production job was really good. If you're charging $800, $900 for a repaint and you don't think you can provide that value, then I really respect his integrity to say, hey, I'm going to give this piece back to you because I don't think I can do a $900 worth of repaint for it. So I really respect that a lot. So here we have the third one. Now, I own the first two, and I actually own a repaint of the first one. So I actually already have three Red Sonja statues. So for me to get another one, I really wasn't very big on that idea. Space is limited, and it was hard for me to think of buying another version. But when the prototype came out, it was just breathtaking, and I felt like I had to add that to my collection. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see the entire statue. And I'll do close-ups later. Now, one of the things that I like to look for when I collect statues is art design, art direction. When you're just starting out collecting this type of thing, it's easy to get kind of carried away and you just buy like literally everything. The funny thing is my wife thinks I already do buy everything, but that's not the case. And so as you get a bit more jaded, a little bit more experienced, depending on what word you want to use, hopefully you become a little more picky. You have higher standards, so to speak. So for me, the art direction really matters. And if I can only get one or two of a character, I try to buy the best version of that character I can. If I buy a repeat, there has to be something really special, really unique about the art direction. And so the thing about this that's so amazing are a few things. So let me go over that. The first is the pose. There's just something about her pose that I find really unique. And it's this sort of blend of power and sexiness all at the same time. She seems very confident and relaxed. She has her sword through the skull of a fallen enemy. She's got her axe over her shoulder. And it's just something about her that seems really cocky, really self-confident, really powerful. And so that, number one, caught my eye. And it's very difficult to convey that type of emotion through sculptural format. I think it's a little bit easier drawing it. You have to sculpt it, and remember, this is solid medium, so you have to try to convey energy in a pose, a certain type of attitude in a pose. That's really hard to do, and I think that this piece definitely does that. And so that was number one, very unique. Love the pose, love that sort of casual, again, but arrogant stance. So that's number one. Number two, the face. And so when I'm talking about the face, I'm going to do a little bit of close-up. She has a beautiful face. And it's a very good paint job. But again, every one of these Sonjas has a different face, and everybody has their favorite version of Sonja. I love all of them, but this to me is my favorite face. Very feminine, very beautiful, but strong. So I love this face right here. Okay? It's my favorite face of all of the three Sonjas. Look on the side here, and then from the side over here. Sorry for the glare, I have the light on actually at this point. So here it goes, okay? So number one, the face. Number two, the anatomy. Okay, beautiful body, beautiful pose. The anatomy is, appropriate, well done. I love the detailing on the armor as well. This is mixed media. So this is, a little fake leather. This is a real pouch. And you can see the detailing of the boots as well. Her armor right up here, okay? And then the base is really cool too. It's also part of the art design. So she has her sword sticking right through the eye of a fallen soldier. So that's pretty amazing right there. It's kind of hard to show it, but I want to try to rotate around. See if I can show you his eye. So you can see here it is. It's difficult, but here it goes. I'm gonna try to blow it up a little bit. So that eye is beautifully painted, glossed. It's a good eye right there, okay? So great base, great art design, great pose, beautiful anatomy, and a gorgeous face. I mean, that altogether makes her my favorite Sonja, which is saying a lot. Now, let's talk a little bit about the production piece. There's always a little bit of a difference between the prototype and the production. In my opinion, I think this is one of Sideshow's best production pieces. They've been forced to, I think, really step up their game with the competition from XM, for instance, and now custom projects are going to the same factories. You always have ECC, a cinema maquette, going the extra level. And so, I think Sideshow has had to step up their game in terms of the production quality to really keep up. And I don't know what factory they used in China to do this, but they must have paid them a bonus, or they must have paid extra money for maybe a higher quality paint job for these factories, because she's amazing. This is not going to be, of course, the same as a custom paint job. Those custom paint jobs will run you $800 to $1,000. But for the paint job that you're getting, I have no complaints. I think it's amazing. It looks great. There's no obvious blemishes. Again, they did a great job with the base, with the texturing here. I'll give you a little bit close up. The blood, the actual eye right there, and again, the decapitated head, the detailing of the shoes, the boots, the greaves, whatever you want to call these. The flesh tone is very nice. Now the flesh tone here is a little bit flat, and you'll be able to see the difference when I see what the master of the human skin and flesh Vicente Torres can do with a repaint. But as far as a factory paint job, this is solid. Okay, it'll never be as good as a custom paint job, but it's pretty good. If you go real close, you can actually see the freckles here. They were a little bit more prominent in the prototype, but they're there. And again, Vicente Torres can really make things pop and make it feel like it's actual skin and flesh. But you have to pay the man as well. Art is not free. Here's the hair billowing out. So this is her cloak. This is the exclusive. I'll talk a little bit more about that. So in terms of the positives, I've gone over that. This is, again, a magnificent statue, one of my favorites. Doesn't get better than this. So much attitude, so good. Sideshow really should be proud of themselves for the quality of the females they put out. There's a lot of debate about whether other companies like XM or Prime One does bigger, better, more detailed stuff, and we could debate that. But at least from my point of view, I don't think any of those companies has approached Sideshow yet in terms of the face, the female portraits that they've been doing. They consistently put out the best looking, most realistic, most beautiful female portraits out there, whether you talk about Dark Phoenix or Red Sonja or whatever, they're still head and shoulders above. They look really, really good, looks alive, and some of the other companies still have that problem where it's kind of like that dead looking face, like the mannequin face. Sideshow is a cut above. And again, their art design, their pose, beautiful, okay? My one criticism of this piece is the exclusive. A lot of collectors don't bother putting it on. I actually do think she looks probably a bit better without it. And it takes a lot of futzing. I mean, this is not really cloth per se, it's pretty cheap. And they have this wire at the very top that you're supposed to bend and put together. And it's not the easiest thing to work with. I mean, you have to futz with it for a pretty long time to get it to look good. I'm still not super happy with the way it's laying, but this is as close as I can get to what it looks like on the pictures on Sideshow's website. But, it's not the best. And so it is kind of a bit of a lame exclusive. It's hiding this thing here, which is this is also like faux fur and all that stuff. So I kind of wish maybe, they could have given me another head, for instance. Their portraits are so spectacular. I kind of wish that, there was another head instead of this lame little cloak. But I guess it'll do, it serves. It kind of gives her that extra little bit of detail, a little bit of extra swagger. She's got that cloak around her to separate her. So my only criticism, which is really a nitpick really, is that the exclusive I was not super impressed with. But everything else, the design, the engineering, the fact that you have to slide the axe handle through the hair and then connect it here, that's genius. The arm connects with a magnet to the wrist so that you can actually position the tip of the blade into the eye socket. All of that is amazing. So again, this is one of the top statues of the year for me. There's going to be other statues that's bigger, more detailed, heavier, etc. But as for kind of nailing everything, great production quality, and everything I talked about earlier, this is it for me. Very, very good. And when I review the other Red Sonjas, I will put them all together so you can kind of get a feel for the three of them and kind of the evolution of what they're like and how each one is kind of unique and amazing in their own right. And you have to decide for yourself whether it's worth spending the money to get all of them. I certainly think so. So I will end by just showing some close-ups. I know I've been doing that all along, but here we go. Close up. You can actually see the blood splatters on the greaves and the boots. It's a very nice touch right there. Here's the arrows. Put in here. That arrow actually feels like metal. So that's pretty classy. Here's the tree. The 2 arrows in the trunk of the tree. Again, the detail of the boots and the greaves and the blood splatter. There's a mixed media right here. Pouch, the belt. There's a loincloth. This is sculpted. That's sculpted. This is sculpted. Sculpted, sculpted, obviously. A detailed painting for gloves. Right here. I like the fact that the ruby, it glistens nicely. Good quality. One here, one here. And of course matched by the rubies here. The axe handle right there. Here it goes. Again, I have her under a bright light for my phone. If you turn that flash off, she'll look really good too with the different shadows. Here's the detail of the hair, the braid here, the way the hair flows. There's the sheath where she can put her sword. I'll lift this up a little bit more so you can see. So this is what's back here. Okay. There you go. I think it's more of a pirate theme, the rest of Sonja. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, take care.